Hello and welcome to Armburger Smackdown. I'm your host, J. Christoph Armburger, and we're here to figure out what really makes America tick. Naming your children is a challenge. Not for everyone, it would seem, but if you take yourself and your genetic hand-me-down seriously, you try to achieve a sonorous harmony that integrates meaning and tradition with that certain uniqueness and flair that still allows for suitable dignity when combined with titles such as Supreme Court Justice or Madame President. Accordingly, it took us forever to come up with suitable name combinations for our three kids. For reasons unknown to me, my suggestions, all drawing from characters in ancient Germanic epics and North German poetry, were flatly rejected, partly because most of them didn't pronounce easily in English, and partly because of the unpleasant and unusually gory fate almost every character encountered. Which is why my sons may one day thank their mother for not being called Hauke or Harm or Gernot, Hagen or Tejas. Naming your next president is just as difficult. At least here you're presented with certain pre-packaged options. But this is where the rubber hits the road. You've got to figure out not just how much thought the candidate's parents really put into preparing their offspring for such office, but how ready you are for the high-frequency public use of that particular name. I decided to check out the current crop of candidates for the presidential qualities of their names, and hence their actual chances at the highest office in the country. I consider this a thoughtful analysis, a public service to save us and them a whole lot of time and money. For the same reason of economy, I didn't bother much with the Democratic candidates. In my humble opinion, if one's program considers human ambition, competence, independence, and success to merit redistribution of one's property, no name can make up for the inherent indignity of that underlying assumption. Among Republicans, it becomes apparent that single-digit support rates are in direct relation with the qualities of the candidate's name. Unpresidentially named Tom Vilsack already packed his bags. I predict the same for Mike Huckabee and Sam Brownback, whose last name is vaguely uncomfortable to a man with my politically correct sensitivities. I admit freely that Tommy Thompson has a certain folksy ring to it, but I and 98% of people polled apparently can't picture a President Tommy, at least not until he can be sworn in by a Supreme Court justice named Timmy or Tucker. Which brings us to Mitt Romney. Now, Romney looks like presidential material, at least if you could buy it in neat vacuum-packed presentation boxes. His name sounds as vaguely old money waspish as becomes a former governor of Massachusetts. But is it convincing enough to sell his newfound conservatism and brand new lifetime NRA membership to the Dicks, Georges, Toms, and Bobs who remember his former gun control stance? Maybe he can hit double-digit acceptance rates using his Salt Lake City people skills. Equally odd-named Newt Gingrich is currently scoring between 8 and 9% support rates. Is it the name? Would a presidential candidate Newton Gingrich have better chances? I doubt it. In his case, name recognition may not be all it's cracked up to be, as it evokes images of a 1990s political career inside the Beltway, a period that somehow has managed to taint all their main actors with malodorous Potomac muck. It's that Washington odor that also clings to Senator McCain, even though President John McCain is as good a name for a US president as a screenwriter could dream up, and as such worth the 22% support levels that put him among the top contenders. Then there's former Tennessee Senator Fred Thompson, who supposedly is considering a bid for the White House. The latest Gallup poll puts him in third place among GOP candidates. His name is a tad old-fashioned, but President Thompson certainly has a good, solid ring to it, regal even if you call him Frederick. Focus on the Family founder James Dobson may think that Thompson is light on the hallelujahs and doesn't talk about being a Christian enough in public, which almost makes him electable. But then I'd have to get used to another district attorney on Law and Order. Which leaves former New York City Mayor Rudolph Giuliani, who despite recent dips in national polls is still leading the pack of GOP hopefuls. My message to you, Rudy, to quote the specials, I personally don't have a problem at all with President Giuliani. In fact, I think it's about time for a president whose last name didn't originate in the British Isles. But overall, I have a kind of Old Testament feeling about the 2008 election. After 7 good years, as good as it gets in the aftermath of 9/11 and the war in Iraq, that is, We're in for 7 leaner years, or 2 full presidential cycles during which the American electorate has to get as deeply sick of taxes, over-regulation and hypocrisy as they are sick of Iraq right now. Who knows? By then a president by the first name of Kylie or Tyler or Tucker may sound perfectly all right with me. For TaipanFinancialNews.com, I'm your timelessly conservative named and utterly unelectable Johann Christoph Amberger, wishing you a profitable week.